Hello everyone, Charles from the Bible Unbound, and today we're going to take a look at a set of outreach Bibles from the Lockman Foundation, plus a couple of extras that if you want to go just slightly more for your outreach, these are going to make some excellent options. So we'll show you more in just a minute. So when looking to do Bible outreach, you tend to kind of keep a couple things in mind, especially price point and how much you're spending on it versus the quality of what you're getting. A lot of people are very happy getting something like a simple full New Testament or a full Bible that isn't a paperback, and they'll use these for years. And I can see that most people, when they get into that, they'll buy one of these because it's economical and they're not worried if it gets damaged because they're fairly easy to replace. Now, I like giving away things that are just slightly better quality that if they're going to appreciate and read it, that way it'll benefit them so much longer in the long run. But some of the options you can buy in Pew Bibles will last quite a while because most Pew Bibles are designed for, fairly rugged use in most churches. And I see those lasting for quite a while. And the price point is a lot cheaper than you think it would be. Because you can get quality Pew Bibles for less than what you'd pay for a gift and award Bible and much better quality. So let's go through a couple of options. We are going to take a look at a few of the basic outreach versions that we have from Lockman. So we're first going to start off with a Gospel of John in paperback, a single Gospel of John. Like one of the things I like to see when I'm talking to somebody is they always wonder, where should I go first when I'm reading the Bible? And a lot of people make the mistake, if you give them a full Bible, of going through Genesis and trying to work your way through. And be honest, there's quite a few people that get lost in the Old Testament. But if you're trying to establish, what the good news is, the Gospel of John is one of the best places to start. And I see a lot of companies that produce single Gospels of John. And this one is really good quality for a paperback. So as we take a look at this is a simple Gospel of John. It's the only thing that is in this. This is a very affordable price point. These, I believe, go for about $1.25 a piece. So it's very economical. They can sell these, it looks like, up to 300 in a case. So when we look at it, this is a nice trade paper edition, but it is really decent quality, and I like some of the features in the beginning, which are excellent if you're actually walking somebody through, what the good news is. Very simple. Romans 3:23, God's plan of salvation, and how to receive God's plan, and a suggestion to receive. So this is your personal decision where they denote their name, and this helps walk them through some of the beginning stages and beginning questions as well. Then we go to the copyright page, New American Standard Gospel of John. And the text in this is really, I can show you some of the others, and this is actually a large print. This, I believe, it doesn't say it, but this looks like almost a 9-point font, at least, like a standard Bible font. Really crisp, clean. It's all single column with any of the textual footnotes on the bottom. Very nice and easy to read. But I like the paper. For being a trade paper, this is well printed. It's nice and dark. The trade paper is really, really nice. And it's the standard NASB 2020 format. And let's see if there's anything else in the end here. No, this is just John at the end. So these have a nice beginning thing. So if you're walking somebody through the basic beginnings and how to actually accept Christ, this is a very good option. And it's so economical. I could see buying a case of these, and I would leave these in my car or something to hand out to somebody when you're talking to somebody, when you feel that you want to give them at least something to help them begin their walk. That is very nice. Then you have the next level up. Like, these are $1.25 per unit, and these are $2.50. So this is a full New Testament in the same trade paper So this is the same quality trade paper, but it is a slightly smaller font. But I think this is like an 8-point font. And this has some of the same beginning notes in here. It looks like the same notes. Yeah, the same notes. With your personal decision card, as well as promises filled and what you should do now. A nice forward. I always say in every forward and preface, read that at least once. These are very nice. So this gives a full preface here, plus the listing of the books of the New Testament, and then it goes into Matthew. Now this is the same good, nice quality print. Now the paper on this is slightly darker because this is a typical trade paper Bible, but it is very clean, single column. It only has textual footnotes on the bottom. But I like this. I mean, this is a lot more readable than some of my other compact Bibles. The text and that is very readable. And this nice thing about trade paper, you get less bleed through. So this is what you would typically see in a paperback, either novel or any other book that you would read. It's very clean. I like the font that they're using. And we'll check to see if there's anything in the back. So after Revelation, it looks like, oh, there is a couple of nice things in the back here. So they have after Revelation, it has the introductions. So I don't see this very often in any of the trade paper New Testaments, where it actually has a nice, looks like it, just over a chapter overview of all the different books in the New Testament. Afterwards, you have a read the New Testament and a 1-year reading plan. So that is pretty nice. So the next step up from that is going to be a New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs. And I think they're calling this their soft cover, which is a slightly more durable cover that has that sort of leather feel to it. You can see a little bit in the overhead. But this is slightly smaller than the actual New Testament. It's about the same footprint of the Gospel of John's footprint. So these are very nice. I like something like this for you to have in your pocket and walk. I've given a couple of things similar to this to a couple of people that I've talked with before. Something like this I would actually love to have. It actually feels really nice too. And they are using paper that is basically the same that you would see, slightly better quality than their Gospel of John. But this is the type of paper that you would see in a typical gift and award Bible or economy Bibles. So we'll go through this. So this is the New American Standard with Psalms and Proverbs. It has their preface. So it has the New Testament books, the Psalms and Proverbs, and it looks like they have a few more helps in the back as well. It's nice. So it goes right in. It's the same format as the New Testament in the Outreach Bible. And it's nice. There's a generous amount of space in this margin in the middle. So the text is not bound up. I see a lot of gift and award Bibles that actually have that, where the text is so much into that gutter that it's hard to read it. And this is really nice. The text is a little small, so it's actually smaller than the Gospel of John. So this is probably a 6, maybe a 7. I like the font choice that they made. And for being this is slightly impressive for being an Outreach Bible, technically. So it's a New Testament. It looks like it's line matched. That is impressive for a Bible like this to actually have it line match with this quality of paper. I mean, there's little printing things which can happen in this type of paper, but it is very nice, very, very easy to read. Textual footnotes in the bottom. And we'll go through here. And I just love this single column format. I'm starting to be really impressed with what I'm seeing from Lockman in their single column Bibles. I've been through and through a dual column format guy, forever. And I'm impressed at more of the single columns, but like the larger single columns seem to be a bit much for me because, if it's so long, yeah, it can be distracting in my opinion. But something like this, I really like. It's right in my wheelhouse for font size and readability. Even though it's small, it's because of the font that they're using, it is very easy to read. And let's go and take a look at their choice in the Psalms. So the formatting that I can see here, it's very nice. So the Psalms goes to a 2-column format that aren't fully left justified. I like that. So each line is separated. And the choice that they made for the Psalms, since the formatting doesn't allow it to be broken up easily, they do have these right here, which are called pilcrows, which let you know where each of the paragraphs are situated. So that lets you know where there's a paragraph or logical break to make it easier for you to understand each of the separate thoughts. This is very nice. Let's see how they handle the larger Psalms when we get toward the end. Because I know like the word studies in Psalm 19. Yep, it does have them. So each of the Hebrew letters, it's going all the way through the Hebrew alphabet. I like that. When you get into Proverbs, it's the same sort of thing. Now, the Proverbs don't always have line breaks for paragraphs, but there are a couple, and it still uses those pilcrows to let you know where those are. The printing is really consistent, and that near exact line matching is so nice. Now, after you get past the Proverbs in this, they talk about this book. This is, beginning instructions on the Bible. And I like this section. Now, this isn't in the other trade paper Bibles, but I see this in a lot of, Psalms and Proverbs, New Testaments. And I like seeing these little where to find help things, especially for a new believer that has never read a Bible before. These are gold pieces of wisdom. I love this, where it points you to these topics and where to read a little bit on each of these topics. It is so nice. And they have suggested readings, teachings of the Bible. It's very nice. Christian virtues, explanation of the 10 Commandments from Exodus. And it actually has the introductions from all the New Testament books. Now, this is nice too. So it actually has the parables of Jesus and a harmony it's basically a harmony of the Gospels laid out, in a slightly different form. I really like the way they're doing this. So instead of having it scrunched in on one page, they do it horizontally instead of vertically. And you're able to get a lot more information. That's nice. I do like the choice they made there. It's fairly impressive. Now, it actually has a 1-year reading plan in the back as well. Oh, I didn't saw that. So they have the Old Testament prophecies fulfilled by Christ section too, which is very nice. 1-year reading plan. And the same thing that is in the original Outreach Bibles, where they're talking about Jesus saves. It's a simple solution to our problems. And walking through God's plan of salvation. How to receive God's love and plan. The suggested prayer, and their personal decisions. So this is actually a perfect Outreach Bible. So it's not just, Psalms and Proverbs version of the New Testament. This, I think, would make an excellent Outreach Bible. Now the pricing is a little different when you get to those, because this is about like $1.25. It's about $2.50 per, and it looks like this one is going to be about $9 per, and this is actually better than a Gift and Award New Testament, in my opinion. It's small, compact, very easy to read. I see a lot of children's Bibles that are in these smaller compacts as well too, but I like this. I'm really impressed with this. It's one of the things I like to carry. So I don't always like to carry, a full Bible bag with me most times. So if I'm going to work or someplace, I almost always have a New Testament on me of one kind or another. And this, I think I might end up buying a case of these to keep in my car for my outreach. I like the way these look. This is very nice. Now that covers your basic outreaches. You come up with the next step up from that. So you've got a New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs. Now, they did suggest for me to take a look at. So this is like $2 more per. So this would be like $9, and this is like almost $11 for this. This is a Ultrathin full version of the Bible. So this is a full NASB 2020 Ultrathin in that same kind of leather text feel. So this is their leather text option. It's not just the kind of leatherette sort of cover. So this is what they're calling leather text. I do like the way these look and feel. So these have that nice texture. It is a glued in spine instead of a Smith sewn, but this is very nice. You can kind of see it here. It says Holy Bible, NASB 2020, ultra thin text, and Lockman foundation, with it looks like 5 of these indented stamped spine hubs, and Holy Bible on the outside of the front cover. This is very nice, and it looks like this is an 8-point font size, and it is line matched. They even show it here. So what I thought was going on with the other, it looks like they're holding it onto this as well. Black letter text, book introductions in the rear, and the Bible reading plan, and the same miracles and parables of Jesus in the back. So I like this. This is nice. So this is like, it's not just a leatherette. This kind of feels like a fiber sheet, which I think is going to be fairly durable. Very nice, because you have that fiber sheet and a paste-in sheet for this because it's pasted. Nice, clean. There's a couple of pieces that feel like cardstock, which are part of the paste-in for that. They would be excellent places to put notes if you wanted to take some notes. I can see that. Fairly thin paper, but this is that nice bright white paper. This looks like it's the same paper, slightly the same paper, but a little bit brighter of the others. So this would be what you would normally find in a standard Bible, which is kind of nice. And this is the copyright page. So this looks like it comes in 2 different options. It comes in a leather text and a Pew Bible. So this is the same, what I thought when I was looking at earlier. So this is the same block as the Pew Bible. And I'll show you the Pew Bible afterwards. And the Pew Bible is only just like $1 or $2 more for that. So you have a little bit more quality in that cover. But we'll go through the basics. It's going to be the same on both of these. It's just going to be a different cover, it looks like. So you have your preface. And that note I was showing here about there is the Pilcrows. They're talking about paragraphs. So in the prose section where they will denote a paragraph, they'll put that little symbol right there. So the books of the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, with their page locations, which is very good for somebody that's a newer reader. Notes of what's in the back. It looks like it's introductions, Bible year plan, and the parables and miracles of Jesus. I like this paper. It is bright white. It's very nice. But like typical, most of the Pew Bibles that I read, their standard Pew Bibles, are in this font. Now this font is supposed to be an 8-point. That's what I thought, which would make this the same. So this is an 8-point, and it looks like that this one is a 9-point. It looks like, and this is probably, it's a little bit bigger. So this one's probably a 10-point. I have to look at the actual fonts later. But this is very clean. So they make this in a dual column format, with the line underneath where you'd have any textual footnotes. I mean, for the small font, it's really readable, and that line matching helps, because there is actually less show through than some of the Bibles that I have that are actually supposed to be higher quality Bibles that you would typically pay $30 for, $40 for. On this, in a sub $11 for this actual one, is very, very nice to see. Very readable. A lot of the compact Bibles I have that are actually like a 6, so it's a little bit bigger than some compact Bibles. And we'll jump through into the poetic section. Now, it's not going to lay flat very well, but it is that cover makes this floppy, makes it feel really nice in the hand. I like that a lot. Getting more and more impressed with Lockman and what they're producing the more I see each of their Bibles. Second Chronicles, go into a poetic section of Job. So here's a basic example of their poetic section. And these pilcrows that you see here are where the paragraphs are. So that lets you know where each of the breaks are, because it doesn't always have a topical heading at a break. When you get into Proverbs, it's very nice, that same kind of poetic formatting with the pilcrows. There isn't as many paragraph breaks in the Psalms. That's just the way most of them are actually formatted. But I do like the left justification for the first sentence. And then if it continues past that, it indents, let you know it's the same sentence. Which some of the Bibles I had previously, like an older ASVs, an older King James, Psalms and Proverbs blend just because of the limitations of the fonting back then. It just blends all together. And as we jump through, we're going to go into the New Testament. This is the black letter version. Still really, really readable. Very readable. Now, as we get past Revelation, it goes into their introductions of the books of the Bible. I really like seeing those introductions there. And it's nice that they have them at the end. Some of the Bibles, like a couple of my other manufactured Bibles, have them in the beginning of each of the books. That's very nice, but something like this, they're kind of put in the back, and they're all in one place. It makes it really easy to find them. Then you get to their Read the Bible in a Year plan, which is fairly straightforward, by each of the days, and then the section and chapter of each of them. After the reading plan, they have their Parables of Jesus. It's the same thing as the other Outreach Bible. So it's kind of like a general harmony of Gospels. 2 pages on that. And then a couple of more cardstock paste-in pages. Like those would make good places for notes. Because there really isn't much room if you were going to write in this. I could see underlining, highlighting. That would be definitely useful. And those couple pages on the end would be perfect for notes. And I am impressed at the leather text. I'm very much like these. That is pretty nice. So the last option for what I would consider to be an outreach are the Pew Bibles. Now, these are fairly nice quality. I think they have some large print options. I will have to check that. But this is a standard 8-point option. This is the same text and same text block as the previous one that I just showed you with the leather text option. But it has this really nice durable cover. Same thing, Holy Bible, NASB 2020, and it looks like Lockman Foundation, and 5 gold stamped hubs on there. A nice gold inlay for the Holy Bible. This is pretty nice. Nice for hardcover. Now these, the only benefit this would have over the leather text is this is a smythsone construction. It has a nice head and tail band. There is no ribbon marker. Nice paste in. There is a nice piece right here, I'm seeing it, of reinforcement tape. So this should hold into that text block pretty well. Very obviously, you can tell that it's a smythsone. couple pages in the front for that paste in. It's the same text overall, exactly the same. Yep. Beautiful paper. I mean, I like the paper they're using in this too. This is very nice. So it's the same text block, and it should have the same features in the back. Yep. Notes, reading plan, parables of Jesus, the miracles of Jesus, and the rear paste-ins. I did like this option for gifting, because this hardcover would last a lot longer than some of these options from other companies that are their faux leather or bonded leather covers. These typically hold up a little bit better. They can stand a little bit more abuse, but they're naked edges on where you normally see gilding, which in my opinion isn't a bad thing. I'm kind of rough on some of my Bibles, especially some of my carry Bibles, where that gilding would get damaged, and I think I would have less issues with that getting damaged over time. But between the two options of these, I gotta stack them over here. So in the between these two for a outreach Bible, both of these would be very nice for an upgraded level that you would want to pay for. And the difference between these two are like less than $2 a piece. So you're looking in that $9 to like $11 range on these. And their Pew Bibles are very economical compared to some. I've seen some of their Pew Bibles up to different companies up to like $18, $19. At that level, you're looking at, a gift and award Bible, or even a premium gift and award Bible. But these are solid options. And looking at the outreach, I mean, it depends on your budget, and it depends on what type of outreach you're trying to do. Now, general outreach, I would carry something like either the Gospel of John or the General New Testament with me as a bulk like giveaway if you're doing street preaching. But these Psalms and Proverbs are a very nice option for just a little bit more. And I see a lot giving away these full Bibles in a trade paper. And this trade paper, you can see some of the differences. So we'll look at a difference between the trade paper and their leather text option. So the brightness and quality of the text is the only major thing that I see is different. It looks like they're using the same font between them. Now, the trade paper, I think, isn't going to last as long, but I see people that have held these for so long that even though they might fall apart a little bit on them, that it's cherished. And I know people that actually love to use these type of Bibles. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with giving these away. And all of these are such really nice options. And I like seeing what they're doing. And the suggestion to have me take a look at a couple more is perfect. I mean, it's this nice range. So all these options are going to be under $13 for each option. Especially the highest option on this is $13 for the hardcover Pew Bible. And the hardcover Pew Bible and the leather text, they're both really nice options, and I like the price point. I would be very comfortable giving any of these away, honestly. And I was really impressed with this tract, Gospel of John, and I believe I am going to pick up a few more of these, because this is, for being technically a trade paper, is so much nice, and it's so bright. I love this. So these are some options for Bible giveaways, and I really like seeing these. I like seeing the quality that I'm seeing coming out from Lockman on just about all of their entire Bible range, and even their Outlook range is pristine in my opinion. I really do like this. And I thank Lockman for giving me the ability to show you these and show you what you can get in this price ranges and what type of quality you're looking for. So all of these would make excellent options in my opinion. And yeah, I would definitely be comfortable giving these away. So with this, we're going to end the video today. As always, we ask you to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you normally would give away as an outreach Bible. I've given away full price Bibles all the way to secondhand Bibles I've purchased and have used and loved and cared for. And something like this, I think, would make an excellent option for somebody's entry into getting in touch with the Word of God. So thank you guys for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.